It's time to add the American standard donkey to the Elm Hill City Zoo. Today we'll expand our petting zoo by adding the donkey barn that the guests will be actually able to enter. In this video we'll also talk a bit more about the upcoming Zookeepers Animal Pack. I really hope you guys will enjoy the video. Hello guys, this is Cesar Creates and welcome back to my channel. Today we are back in the Elm Hill City Zoo where we'll be adding a new animal to our petting zoo, the American standard donkey. This is the first episode of the Elm Hill City Zoo after the tour that we had last time, so it's sort of like a beginning of the new season of this series. I know I could probably choose like a more iconic animal to start the new season, but when I finally had some time to start a new habitat in the Elm Hill City Zoo, we had the whole announcement of the newest pack for Planet Zoo, and I wanted to build for an animal from the previous DLC of the Barnyard Animal Pack to sort of say goodbye to this previous pack. Of course, we are still not done with it. There's still some animals that I want to add from this pack, but I really love the donkey from the Barnyard Animal Pack, and I really wanted to add this. Of course, in this video, we'll talk about the new Zookeepers Animal Pack a little bit more. It's been several days after the big announcement. I already have some thoughts. We'll also talk about the plans for the Elm Hill City Zoo and how they changed after the tour and after the new announcement of the new DLC, and my plans for all the new animals. You guys already bombarded me with the questions about my plans for them in the Elm Hill City Zoo, so I'll try to answer your questions in this video. And I also want to tell you a bit about my trip to New York City, which was totally amazing. So yeah, that's the plan for today's video, but firstly let's talk about the plans for today's habitat. If you have been watching the Elm Hill City Zoo series, you probably know what our petting zoo is all about. If you are new here, first of all, hello, it is so good to have you here. After the Barnyard Animal Pack was released, I started to build a petting zoo in the Elm Hill City Zoo, and I had this idea of making like colorful buildings in there, because those areas are often called the children's zoos, and I wanted to make it look like a proper children area, a bit playful with a lot of vibrant colors. That's why I decided that every animal building in the petting zoo will have different color. We already have a blue chicken coop, we have a red barn for the sheep and the goats, and right now we are building a green building for the American standard donkey. After this habitat will be done, we'll be sort of like halfway done with the whole petting zoo. We'll still have 3 more habitats for the Highland cattle, for the pig, and 1 for the llamas and alpacas. And the colors that I will also add, I think, will be orange, purple, and yellow. But those are the plans for the future. I think that the petting zoo will sort of be like this thing that will be going back to from time to time while building and completing other parts of the zoo. While I really enjoy building this, the barns and the wooden buildings, they often have so many details and they take so much to build that those habitats, even though they are tiny, they are really small compared to some of the habitats in the Elm Hill City Zoo, they really take a long time, especially those buildings, and this one was no exception. So this building that you can see me building right now is heavily inspired by my visit to Wrocław Zoo in Poland. And their petting zoo. They had this amazing building for the ponies. Like, I think there were Shetland ponies and some slightly bigger ones. I don't know what breed it was, but they have a lot of ponies in there. And to me, the things that were interesting about this building was that the guests could actually enter it, and also there were like 2 parts. The right side had those really interesting walls that were transparent, made out of vertical planks, and there were like spaces between those planks, so the ventilation because of this was absolutely perfect. This is very important when it comes to those kinds of animals inside of the indoor enclosures or indoor spaces because of the smell simply. And yeah, this was like a part that was open for the animals, and I'm guessing that they can be closed in there. You could pet them, you could touch them, and it is like an open part inside of the semi-transparent like part of the building that was open for the animals. They could go outside and inside, and it was very interesting to see. And the left hand side was like a typical like barn stalls for the horses, with this like very like American shaped doors, like those curved doors that you can see in typical horse barns. And this is something that I will create at the end of the video. So yeah, today we are also creating something like this. We are creating a building. It won't be like completely walkthrough because in Wrocław they have like 2 separate habitats on both sides of this, but I was a bit like trying to figure it out because okay, they have this like habitat on the right hand side, but then the animals only have the access to this like transparent part of the building that is not heated, that is pretty much open all of the time to the elements. So what about winter? What about colder months and stuff? Maybe the animals are moved somewhere to some other habitats, I don't know, but I decided to just, you know, make this building all about the donkeys, so they will be able to enter both this like petting side, this transparent side of the building, but also the stalls. Of course, you will see that all in the cinematics by the end of the video. Maybe it's hard to understand a bit right now what I'm talking about, but I promise you that it will make more sense later. For how long this building took me to build, it actually doesn't look this impressive, and this made me a bit angry at the beginning when I first finished like building this. I think it looks a bit worse than the one that we built last time for the sheep and the goats, and that one was a quicker build. So I don't know what went wrong in here, but I still like it, don't get me wrong, but I think that this building will sort of like fade into the background while the whole petting zoo will be finished. But maybe that's a good thing. Not every building has to be like this grand big, I don't know, unique thing. When I've been to the zoo, it was right after the Barnyard Animal Pack was released, so when I was in the petting zoo I took a lot of pictures, and because of this, building this was very easy because I was just recreating or sort of recreating what I saw on my phone, so that was just amazing. I love to have those inspirations because it is so much easier and quicker to build, and this brings me to the topic of inspiration and building in Planet Zoo, because I very often get those questions from you guys, from in your messages, even emails or on Instagram and everywhere, like how do you build like this, or can you teach me to build like this, can you give me some tips and so on. And my answer to this is almost always just go to the zoo and take a lot of pictures, because this is the best thing that you can do. It taught me so much about zoos, about habitats, about creating them. I always, when I go to the zoo, and I do it more and more often right now, I take so many pictures. And then, for example, I want to build something for, I don't know, the upcoming Sifaka or the Markhor or anything. I just go to my folder and I have the inspiration ready for me there in the folder with my saved photos from the zoo trips. And because of that, and because of doing it yourself, you can like feel the space, how big the habitat is, because it is sort of like tricky a bit, like recreating the habitat from the pictures that you are like looking for online. Of course, if you don't have the opportunity to go to the zoo because you are unable to, you live too far and so on, and the pictures are the only source of inspiration or material that you have, that's totally fine. You can still do amazing things. I did a lot of the habitats inspired by only pictures or just, you know, trips from Google Maps, because some zoos do that. You can actually go through all the zoo on Google Maps, but the ones that I created that I actually saw live, I think are the best habitats that I ever created. That's why it is so important for us zoo people to go to real zoos, to support them, of course, and just to, you know, feel this atmosphere, take photos. And I really encourage you to actually do that, because of that, I think I am a better builder in this game. And yeah, because of that, I was able to create this building that you are watching today. And again, it's not like a total recreation. I still added some of my things like windows, like a little planter that will be in the front of the habitat. I also pretty much came up for the idea for the whole enclosure myself. It is not recreated from Wrocław Zoo because that one was simply like dust, sand and some logs and that's it. And I didn't want to do that for the wonderful donkeys. But yeah, this is something that I really wanted to mention here. The most difficult part of building this was probably this like arched thing on the roof. I had to just simply make this basically aligning all the pieces one by one, but this was my favorite thing about this building, and this is something that I really wanted to recreate. And I think that it is very like typical for this traditional Polish architecture, like those arches on the roofs with those wooden buildings and stuff. So yeah, very happy to bring some of my my home country culture into Planet Zoo as well. Before we'll move on to the rest of the video, I would like to thank Bias for becoming a sponsor of the insect garden in the Elm Hill City Zoo. Thank you so much. And if you'd like to become a sponsor of one of the habitats in the Elm Hill City Zoo, all you have to do is become a member with the join button down below. And let me know in the comments which habitat you'd like to sponsor. Now that you know about my inspiration, let's talk about the DLCs. Firstly, the Barnyard Animal Pack, as the donkey that we are building for is from the previous pack, and again I sort of wanted to say goodbye to that pack with building for one of the animals from this pack. The Barnyard Animal Pack, to me, at first I was so happy about the pack. For me it was so groundbreaking. Something new was added, like the guest interactions with the animals, a lot of new very like fantastic pieces were added. But after a while, I must say that this pack for me is sort of like in the middle of the road, because both I am very happy that it was added because a lot of people wanted to see the petting zoo pack or anything. Petting zoos are very like popular in zoos around the world. But on the other hand side, as much as I like this pack, I think that it didn't inspire me like almost at all to build in Planet Zoo. Like there are some packs that I just cannot wait to build something for those animals. I see the whole sections in my head. I see like I don't know, ideas for the new habitats, just as with the Zookeepers Animal Pack. But with this one, I think it is sort of like a bit limiting, because okay, you can add those animals in the petting zoo, you can build a farm for them if you want to, and as some creators did on YouTube here, and that's basically it. Like you wouldn't build like a big building for them, you wouldn't do like intricate, I don't know, indoor areas for those animals, you don't really, I don't know, build very, I don't know, complex habitats with a lot of detail and, I don't know, flair for the goats, right? Or for the sheep or for the pig. So for me, okay, I will build this, and I probably won't be going back to them unless we'll be building another city zoo in the future that will also feature a petting zoo, and then I will have to come up with different barns and different wooden structures for them. That's why, yeah, this DLC was like a kind of in the middle of the road for me, and I feel like more people think about this in the same way. Like the hype for this DLC was so high at the beginning, but I feel like it dropped down very quickly, and a lot of you were waiting for the next pack, and we had to wait a long time. So, but tell me what you guys think about this pack. Like, definitely tell me down in the comments. I am very curious to hear about your opinions about the Barnyard Animal Pack. But when it comes to being inspired to build for the animals, here we have the Zookeepers Animal Pack that is incoming, and let me tell you that I already have so many ideas for those animals. Oh my god! As with all the packs, the community is a bit divided. Some people are very happy, some people are not happy at all. We still don't know if it's the last DLC or not. If it's the last, I know that there are some very like iconic animals that we are still missing and didn't end up being added. I don't know, the secretary bear, the tree kangaroo, the coyotes, the walrus, just to name a few. The leaks from the Planco dictionary sort of give me a small like hope that will have one more because there were words like secretary, godfellow, echidna, and also Macau in that dictionary, but we still don't know. Maybe there were like scraps or the ideas that they had, but they decided not to do, or maybe save those for Planet Zoo 2 if we'll ever get it. But I personally am very happy with the new Zookeepers Animal Pack. Maybe it will be just a cherry on top or a perfect thing for me if we'll have at least one bird in it, like a duck, like a guinea fowl, like anything like this. But the animals like the dik-dik, like the cockerel sifaka, the markhor, even the spectacled bear, and of course the baboon were some of my most requested animals for this game. You will find them all in my personal wishlist that I uploaded to YouTube, so I am very happy with those choices. And let me tell you that I already have so many ideas for them. Every of those animals, including the African leopard from the free update, will be included in Elm Hill City Zoo. So the plan is to add them all here, just to answer all of your questions, because oh my god, there were so many. And my plans are to add the palace cat to the wildcat house in the place where I wanted to add the lynx, so sort of like between the tigers and the cougars. We'll build a very similar structure for them as for the sand cats, but on the other side of the building. I decided to change my plans regarding the bear section a bit because after a thought, I don't know if there's any zoo, maybe there are like several, that has like, I don't know, 5 or 6 species of bears just living next to each other as a big bear section. That's why I decided to divide the bears a little bit, and the new spectacled bear will be added to the South American section that we have in the zoo. After so many messages from you guys about not including the giant panda in the zoo in my plans, I decided to change that. I will add the giant panda and I will build like a little Himalayan section for the panda. I will also move the red panda from the small mammal house and add the markhor and the takin to that section, so that I think that absolutely makes sense. I also have an idea for a very cool building. I already have a name for it. It will be the Goodwin Center, of course named after Bernie Goodwin, who was like a main character from the Planet Zoo scenarios. Maybe if that's the last pack, the Zookeepers Animal Pack, it will be like my I don't know, tribute to Planet Zoo and stuff. And in that building will include 3 animals from this DLC and from the free update. So there will be African leopard in there, the dik-dik, and the tortoise, because we don't have any more space in the reptile house. So I decided to like add it into another building, and I already know the inspiration for this, and it will look absolutely amazing. The cockerel sifaka will of course be added to the Madagascar house that I plan to build here. I don't know when I will do it, but I'll definitely build it. The baboons will of course be included in the primate section of the zoo that I also plan to build. And that's basically it. Definitely let me know down in the comments what you think about those plans. I am so ready to build this all and I cannot wait, but of course this will be a lot of work, and we still have so many different animals from previous DLCs and from the base game that I still want to add to this zoo, but we have plenty of space. And let me tell you that after the tour and after removing all of the animals and most of the stuff, the performance is a bit better. So I am very like chill out when it comes to how long this series will go on. I think that we are good. Okay, but let's go back to today's video. I really enjoy building for equids. I loved our Przewalski wild horse habitat. I really enjoyed building for the Somali wild ass, and now it is time for like a domestic donkey. I sort of wish that we had more of those in Planet Zoo. I know that realistically we won't get any more probably, but there's for example Kulan or Kiang that are so beautiful, and also the Shetland pony for example would be amazing for petting zoos like this. But yeah, I know that probably most of you are not so keen on this idea. I would prefer to see something more exciting like an ocelot or anything like with more claws and teeth, but I like my ungulates, I like my horses, and this is just who I am. But Frontier absolutely nails those models. I think like the donkey looks so amazing. Even after they sort of remodeled it a bit, they added this cross on the back after the release, it looks even better. So I am very happy with the addition of this animal. So the outside habitat, as you guys can see, is sort of plain but I feel like it still has more details than most of the donkey habitats that I saw. I created my own fence for this habitat. I also reused the feeder that I like custom made for the Somali wild ass, so I bought that for this animal. It just suits perfectly, so I also added it in here. And I also added an incredible detail that I was able to add thanks to, again, one of my zoo visits to Tier Park Berlin. And they also have like this domesticated animal section. Maybe it's not like a typical planet zoo petting zoo, but they have those brush stations where you have those like wooden like crates or boxes with those horse brushes, and you can take one brush from there, and if the animal is like next to the fence, you can like brush it with it. The animals really enjoy it, and I remember that for donkeys I think they had those. So this is such a cool way of people like I guess interacting with the animals. We had the feeding machines for the goats and the sheep, so in here I decided to do something different, and those brushes are just such a cool idea. Like I wonder why not more zoos like do this, because it's really amazing. On the topic of zoo visits, I've been to New York, as you guys know, because I've been like posting about this everywhere because I was so excited. Sorry if you have enough of this topic already, but I just wanted to tell you that the Bronx Zoo is absolutely amazing. If you'll ever have a chance to go to New York, definitely save a day to go to Bronx Zoo, because I just loved my visit so much. Oh my god. Even though I had such a bad luck when it comes to the weather. I bought my tickets before, and I also bought like this special experience of feeding the giraffes and meeting them. You had to book this before in advance, so I couldn't like choose the day, and through all my visit in New York I had amazing weather, and suddenly I wake up at the day of the zoo visit and it is pouring rain. So it wasn't too good, but thanks to that the zoo was empty, so all the indoor enclosures that were dry were so incredible, because I had them basically to myself, and also I didn't feel well. I was from all the crazy air conditioning that you Americans use. We Europeans are not used to that. Basically it's hot outside, you're going into the shop, suddenly it's so cold, then you are going to the subway station, it's hot again from those like pipes or something, you are stepping into the subway, it's again cold. So I think because of that I got sick. So it was raining, I felt really bad, but I still wanted to enjoy the visit and take a lot of pictures for you guys and also record some reels. And actually Bronx Zoo reposted one of my reels, which was so amazing because they have so many followers and they started to follow me on Instagram. So one of the most iconic like zoos in the world now follow me on Instagram. Like for me as a zoo nerd, that is just amazing. Like I still cannot believe that. Wow, like thank you. If someone is watching from Bronx Zoo, thank you so much for this. But I am telling you also all this because we are not sort of done with the topic of New York City yet, because I actually visited another zoo while being in there, and I will start posting about it probably next week, so prepare yourselves. So as you guys could see, we sort of moved to the interior of the building, and right now we are working on it. I just forgot to mention that in Wrocław Zoo, like the building that I took the inspiration from is definitely not green. It is just like a normal wooden color, but in here, because I am doing those colorful buildings, I had to adjust it, because maybe some of you actually visited the zoo and are wondering, I don't remember a green building in there, but yeah, in the real zoo it was just wooden. Yeah, the indoor part took me so much time. Oh my god, this was crazy. You won't see that all in the speed build, because I cut out a lot of it. I actually cut out a lot of building this building, because this video, the speed build was like 1 hour 15 minutes, so I just took big chunks out because I didn't want to bore you with placing all of those wooden elements. But this building is like the first building like that I've built in this game where I feel like the supports and all the beams inside actually make sense. I am not an architect by any means, so I don't know how those things work, how you should build them so that the building has a proper support, but in here I took so many pictures that I was able to sort of recreate that, and I think that this building would simply make sense and not collapse when we have some, like, I don't know, strong wind or anything. In Planet Zoo, we also have this like forage feeder for the animals, and they had the exact same one in the zoo, and it was like suspended on a chain or anything. So I decided to sort of also recreate that, just placing the enrichment item slightly in the ground so you don't see this like little pole that it has underneath, and added the chain, and it sort of looks like believable that it is like hanging in there. Okay, this is all when it comes to the speed build part of the video. I'll meet you guys in a second for the cinematic shots to show you the entire habitat. I think that this might be my favorite habitat in the petting zoo so far. I really like how it has turned out. Although the whole barn that we've built today may be slightly less impressive than the last one that we've built for the sheep and the goats, the enclosure as a whole looks really nice, and I really love the interior of the barn, especially how the donkeys look when they are in their stalls. And again, I think that the model of the American Standard donkey is so damn beautiful, and I am so happy that we finally have them in the Elm Hill City Zoo. I love the idea for the brush station, something that I took from the Tier Park Berlin. I was re-inspired by my visit to this place, and they had those brush stations, and I really like the idea. Just imagine our guests taking those brushes out of the box and brushing our donkeys. I'm sure that they would enjoy it so much. The outdoor part of the habitat is probably slightly less detailed than I normally would do, but this is still a petting zoo, and I am sure that this is very detailed compared to some of the petting zoos and their enclosures in the real life. The main focus of this entire build is of course the barn and the indoor part that took me so long to build, but I really love the two sections. One more open for the animals just to enjoy during the day, where the guests can also pet them, for example when there's a bad weather, it's raining and so on, and the other side is for the stalls, somewhere they will probably spend their nights, or they can also enter wherever they want. So yeah, that was the entire idea for the habitat. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I cannot wait to build more in the petting zoo, but the upcoming episodes will be probably focused around the animals from the newest Zookeeper Animal Pack. Okay guys, if you enjoyed today's video, please consider to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Ring the bell if you want to be notified every time I upload a new video like this. Give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And of course, leave me a nice comment and tell me what you think about the new habitat. If you'd like to support the channel a little bit extra and become a sponsor of one of the enclosures in the Elm Hill City Zoo, you can do it with the join button down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys!